Hey everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel where I focus mostly on personal finance with a few other odds and ends videos thrown in. Today we're going to be talking about my updated Roth IRA for 2021. As many of you know, I use M1 Finance for my Roth IRA, which makes it very easy to deposit money every single week and have that money evenly distributed into the allocations that I pick beforehand at the beginning of the year. So previously, my Roth IRA was comprised of about 60 stocks, with a bunch being at 1% allocation. And I had picked those stocks based on my own thought process and also based off of Meet Kevin's IRA index that he has on his website. Upon further evaluation for this year, I realized that even though my portfolio did really well last year with something around a 55% increase in profits for the entire year, I realized that that portfolio wouldn't be as consistent for 2021, at least not in my belief. So I decided to change things up with that portfolio, and I'm going to be sharing all of my new allocations with you today. So starting things off, I decided to play it a little bit safer this year and decided to put 20% of my income right off the top into VTI, the total stock market index. I think that this is going to provide some stability into my Roth IRA, and I personally like that stability and being able to see that my account is staying around the same while still increasing every single week. Next, we have Tesla, which I have kept in the portfolio, but I have increased to a 10% withholding for the year. I personally believe that Tesla is going to have another great year this year. I don't think it will match what it was at last year, but I do think that it will provide some great returns, and it will be nice to have a good amount of Tesla held for the future. Next, we move into two different ARK funds. I have both ARK F and ARK G. Those are ARK Fintech and ARK Genomic Revolution, respectively, and those are both held at 8% each. I have both the ARK K and ARK Q holdings inside of my Robinhood account, and those have done me very well. So I do personally believe that both of these sectors will increase over the next few years, and I think it will be good to maintain a certain amount of my portfolio in those ARK Invest ETFs, because I truly do believe in the company and what they have been doing so far. Next, moving on to smaller allocations within the portfolio, I have Realty Income that I increased the allocation up to 8%. That way I can get a little bit more from the dividends every single month. Next, we move on to both Apple and Amazon, which are both sitting at 5% in the portfolio. I don't think they need any introduction. I think they are the cornerstone of any quality portfolio in today's society. And next we have Redfin, Lemonade, and AT&T, all at 4% allocations. I enjoy Lemonade because it has made me a lot of money over the last year, and I do think that their idea on taking on the insurance industry in a completely different way will be extremely profitable for them in the future. Redfin, likewise, is doing a lot of things in the housing market that I think are original, and I think will place it in a good place in the future. Even though it is lagging behind Zillow right now, I do feel like they will be winning that race in a few years' time. And lastly, AT&T, in here purely for the dividends and the stability that AT&T stock provides. Next, we move on to the 3% allocations, both Lowe's and Boeing. Lowe's is there primarily, again, for the dividends and the fact that I think they do have a strong company at its base and that they will continue to grow over the next few years. And Boeing is on there for that exposure into the travel industry, as I do believe that that stock will do very well over the next couple of years once planes are back up in the air consistently and more planes need to be purchased to replace the current ones that are already available. Next, we have Zillow sitting at 2% allocation. I am trying to kind of double dip, and I do think that both Zillow and Redfin will be doing well over the next few years, so I'm going to keep Zillow in my portfolio for now. Next, we have Disney sitting at a 1% allocation. I believe that Disney will continue to grow over the coming years, but I don't think it will be such a huge growth stock the way it has been over the past 6 months. Next, we have Delta Airlines, which I have allocated 2% of the portfolio to. I enjoy Delta and American Airlines as both of my airline-related stocks, and I thought that Delta had a little bit more upside in the long term, so that's why I decided to add them as a 2% allocation. Next, we have Nvidia and AMD, again, kind of hitting both sides of the market, as I do believe that they are both going to do well over the next few years, and until there is a clear winner, I think that they are both good stocks to pick right now. Next, we have Coca-Cola at 1%, again, just sitting there for those dividends and the stability. Then we have AMC. This is one of the bigger stretch plays that I put into my portfolio, and it is only sitting at 1% allocation, but I do think that AMC will have quite a bit of upside in the next few years, provided that it can get through the end of this pandemic and come back stronger than ever. I do think that they're going to need to reposition themselves a little bit differently when things open back up, but I do have faith that they will be able to do that. Next we have Target. Again, I feel like no introduction is necessary. Everybody loves Target and they love to go buy stuff there, so Target always seems to do really well in the stock market. Next we have UPS, again there for the dividends as well as the long-term growth, as that stock has been doing really well over the last few years. Then we have Visa, again coming in for the dividends, sitting at that 1%. Then we have Dave & Buster's, which I decided to keep in my portfolio since I did make a decent amount of money off it last year, but decided to reduce it down to just 1% for this year. Next we have the only financial sector stock on this list, and that is JP Morgan. I believe that JP Morgan has the highest upside out of any of the financial stocks currently at the moment, and I do think this will be a good stock to hold long term. Next we have Salesforce, which is a company that I started investing in about 6 months ago on my Robinhood account and has done really well for me, and I think that they have a unique business model that is going to push them forward into the future, and I do think that they will continue to make ravenous amounts of money for many years to come. And lastly, we also have the Vanguard Sp 500 ETF. I included this on here for a little bit extra exposure into the S&P 500. That way, if the total stock market continued to rise and outpace some of the individual stocks that I have in my portfolio will still rise from the total stock market rising. Well, there we have it. That is my new and improved M1 Finance Roth IRA for 2021. I would love to hear about your own personal Roth IRAs, or if you're even just considering opening one. I personally enjoy depositing money into my Roth IRA whenever I can, and even though M1 Finance does have a hurdle of a $500 minimum deposit for the initial deposit, I do think it's worth saving that money up and using M1 Finance for your brokerage to be used for your Roth IRA. I think that it's extremely easy to stay with it, and it's extremely nice to not have to worry about fiddling with things every week and just leave it the way it is and check back every few months. So if you want to tell me about your own investment accounts and Roth IRAs, please leave a comment in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a like. And if you enjoy seeing my videos come across your feed, make sure to hit that subscribe button and notification bell to ensure you can see all of my videos every single time they come around. Thanks for watching and take care.